We'd been dating about a year. I think it was about a year when we found out about the first deployment. He was actually living in Tulsa for the time being. It was a few months that he was living in Tulsa, so we were dating long distance. But we found out about the deployment, and he actually tried to get rid of me. He decided that Nate, that's my son, our son now, he didn't want us to have to go through the deployment, but I pretty much said that that was my decision if I got to stand beside him and support him through that or not, and sent him on his way to Iraq in October of that year, and said I would be here whenever he returned, and that we would do what we needed to do through the deployment and carry on, you know. So it was during his 15-day leave of that deployment that he proposed. It was the following summer of '08, and proposed during the 15-day deployment, and then we got married 3 weeks after he returned in October. So we moved pretty fast. And reintegration was more like integration, because we hadn't lived together before we were married. Nate hadn't spent time with us. Well, he had spent time with us, right, obviously, but we hadn't lived together as a family. And so really that deployment, coming off of that deployment, seemed a little bit more of like we were starting our life together, and that's what we knew, and that's what we did.
And I think my decision to try and end the relationship before I deployed it was just that. It was a safety net, because didn't know where we were going, truly didn't understand what we were getting into, and you know, as you're preparing for deployment, you hear about all the things during deployment, and just didn't want her to have to go through it. I thought, man, if I stop it now, then she won't hurt anymore if something does happen. So, but decided to propose when I came home. Absolutely knew at that point there is no life without her or Nate, and it was great. And she said the reintegration, we didn't really reintegrate, it was just the excitement of moving in together, being a married couple in a married family. So.